wanted the ship and had killed Johnny to reduce opposition to the minimum. He, himself, had been permitted to live until the cave cat learned from his mind how to operate the almost automatic controls. Now, he had served his purpose. You are wrong. Again, there was no way he could determine the direction from which the thought came. He listened again and wondered why it had not waylaid him at the door. Its thought came, I had to let you see me, or you would not have believed I existed. It was only here that I could extinguish all the lights and have time to speak before you killed me. I let you think your brother was here. There was a little pause. I am sorry. I am sorry. I should have used some other method of luring you here. He swung his blaster toward what seemed to be a faint sound near the astrogator unit across the room. We did not intend to kill your brother. He did not believe it and did not reply. When we first made telepathic contact with him, he jerked up his blaster and fired. In his mind was the conviction that we had pretended to be harmless animals so that we could catch him off guard and kill him. One of us leaped at him as he fired the second time to knock the blaster from his hand. We needed only a few minutes in which to explain, but he would not trust us that long. There was a misjudgment of distance and he was knocked off the cliff. Again he did not reply. We did not intend to kill your brother, the thought came, but you do not believe me. He spoke for the first time. No, I don't believe you. You are physically like cats, and cats don't misjudge distances. Now, you want something from me before you try to kill me too. What is it? I will have to tell you of my race for you to understand. We call ourselves the Varn, in so far as it can be translated into a spoken word. And we are a very old race. In the beginning, we did not live in caves, but there came a long period of time, for thousands of years, when the climate on our world was so violent that we were forced to live in the caves. It was completely dark there, but our sense of smell became very acute, together with sufficient sensitivity to temperature changes that we could detect objects in our immediate vicinity. There were subterranean plants in the caves and food was no problem. We had always been slightly telepathic, and it was during our long stay in the caves that our intelligence and telepathic powers became fully developed. We had only our minds. Physical science is not created in dark caves with clumsy paws. The time finally came when we could leave the caves, but it was of little help to us. There was no resources on our world but earth and stone and the thin grass of the plains. We wondered about the universe, and we knew the stars were distant suns because one of our own suns became a star each winter. We studied as best as we could, but we could see the stars only as the little wild animals saw them. There was so much we wanted to learn, and by then we were past our zenith and already dying out. But our environment was a prison from which we could never escape. When your ship arrived, we thought we might soon be free. We wanted to ask you to take some of us with you and arrange for others of your race to stop by on our world. But you dismissed us as animals, useful only for making warm fur coats, because we lived in caves and had no science, no artifacts, nothing. You had the power to destroy us, and we did not know what your reaction would be when you learned we were intelligent and telepathic. A telepathic race must have a high code of ethics and never intrude unwanted. But would you have believed that? He did not answer. The death of your brother changed everything. You were going to leave so soon that there would be no time to learn more about you. I hid on the ship so I could study you and wait until I could prove to you that you needed me. Now I can. Thrun is dying, and I can give you the proper words of explanation that will cause the others to bring him into the ship." "Your real purpose, what is it?" he asked. "To show you that men need the Varn. You want to explore the galaxy and learn. So do the Varn. You have the ships, and we have the telepathic ability that will end the communication problem. Your race and mine can succeed only if we go together." He searched for the true and hidden purpose behind the Varn proposal and saw what it would have to be. The long-range goal. You failed to mention that. Your ultimate aim. "I know what you are thinking. How can I prove you wrong now?" There was no way for the Varn to prove him wrong, nor for him to prove the treachery behind the Varn proposal. The proof would only come in time, when the Terran-Varn cooperation has transformed Terrans into a slave race. The Varn spoke again. "You refuse to believe I am sincere?" "I would be a naive fool to believe you." "It will be too late to save Thrun unless we act very quickly. I have told you why I'm here. There is nothing more I can do to convince you but be the first to show trust. When I switch on the lights, it would be within your power to kill me." The Varn was gambling its life in a game in which he could be gambling the plan and his race. It was a game he would end at the first sound of movement from the astrogator unit across the room. "I have been here beside you all the time." A furry paw brushed his face, claws flicked gently but grimly reminding along his throat. He whirled and fired. He was too late. The Varn had already leaped silently away and the beam found only the bare floor. Then the lights came on, glaring bright after the darkness, and he saw the Varn. It was standing by the control board, its huge yellow eyes watching him. He brought the blaster into line with it, his finger on the firing stud. It waited, not moving or shrinking from what was coming. The translucent golden eyes looked at him and beyond him as though they saw something not in the room. He wondered if it was in contact with its own kind on Johnny's world and was telling them it had made the gamble for high stakes and had lost. It was not afraid, not asking for mercy. The killing of it was suddenly an act without savor. It was something he would do in the immediate future, but first he would let it live long enough to save Thrun. He motioned with the blaster and said, "Lead the way to the airlock." "And afterward you will kill me?" "Lead the way," he replied harshly. It said no more but went obediently past him and trotted down the corridor like a great black dog. He stood in the open airlock, the Varn against the farther wall where he had ordered it to stand. Thrun was in the radiation chamber and he had held his first intelligible conversation with the natives that day. The Varn was facing into the red-black gloom outside the lighted airlock, where the departing natives could be heard crossing the glade. "Their thoughts no longer hold fear and suspicion," it said. "The misunderstanding is ended." He raised the muzzle of the blaster in his hand. The black head lifted as the golden eyes looked up at him. "I made you a promise," he said. "I could demand none. I can't stop to take you back to your own world, and I can't leave you alive on this one. With what you've learned from my mind, you would have the natives build the Varn, a disintegrator-equipped space fleet equal to our own ships. We only want to go with you." He told it what he wanted it to know before he killed it, wondering why he should care. "I would like to believe you are sincere, and you know why I don't dare to. Trusting a telepathic race would be too dangerous. The Varn would know everything we knew and only the Varn would be able to communicate with each new alien race.